Song's called Miles. Or like we say on Guam, Miles. MYOOO. Yes. S. 714, Jesse Quenga, Guam Ethics Commission, joining us in the KUAM News Zoom room on a Friday. Morning, Jess.
Hey, good morning, Chris, and good morning, Jason. How are you doing?
We're doing pretty good. Hey, thanks for jumping on. We had Maria Pangolina and the Guam Election Commission on yesterday, and there was this whole thing with the financial disclosure statements, and I know that a bunch of them were late, and then some people had requested extensions, but she told us that they forwarded everything over to you guys at the Guam Ethics Commission. So what's the next step with that?
Right. So from what we gathered, there were 126 officials that have been identified who are required to file what is the financial disclosure statements. In the original submission deadline, we had received 69 filings and 57 requests for extensions. Recently, I believe just early this week, we received a few more, so that number is now shifted to 71 who have filed, and we have 55 outstanding who have until October of this year to submit their financial disclosure statements. I think what we're still exploring is what that process will look like once we do have all those forms. Ideally for us, I think we're intending to keep them on file. If there are complaints that come up regarding an official, that will be involved, maybe a review of their financial disclosures if it's financially related. So, those things I think will support those types of investigations. But for now, we're just happy that we're clearing through that process and we're outlining what that will look like moving forward with the Guam Election Commission.
So are you guys acting more as a repository for this? Is there any, and then in the event you did need to examine some officials' finances, who would do that? I mean, I mentioned with Maria yesterday, a forensic auditor. I don't even know if that's even a thing. Sounds cool though, right?
It does. No, I heard that little question there, and I think the question will be what part of their disclosure will relate to an active investigation. And it's really difficult to say because we can't predict what type of complaints will come up.
Right.
I know for the commission's perspective, I did propose to the commissioners that we might consider posting some of that information online and make that available so that individuals can inspect for themselves what officials claim to be their sources of income. I think having that information available might support an exploration, perhaps, if there are violations. Sometimes we hear like the public auditor has come on your show in the past and suggested that, well, how do we quantify like someone is just a entry-level buyer but has a big house and a wonderful car, how do they support that? And so it'd be great for us to be able to share at least some of that information, maybe not the whole detail. Of course, the public is able to request to inspect any of the files we have. Granted, they just need to make that request with our office.
That's actually a good idea, Jess, to post, because these are all public documents, right? So I don't know why we wouldn't post the whole thing, but to have them online, you're right. It would give the public an opportunity to inspect these documents in a way that because no one's going to go to the Guam Election Commission or the Guam Ethics Commission, I mean, outside of media, right? But just for the average Joe and Josefa Cruz out there, if they know, Senator X has an interest in whatever business, but then they look at their financial disclosure and they don't see anything listed there,
right,
then that would be the basis for some type of investigation or filing of a complaint, right?
You're right. What we're trying to do is to be fair to both the public that has a right to review these documents, but also the official who owns this information. So part of this document asks beyond just salaries, their assets, even their investment strategies and their bank balances. Sometimes, it might seem a little too indulgent of their information if it's not related to their duties and responsibilities. But I still believe that the public has a right to consume that. So within the office, we're trying to explore different mechanisms that will allow the public to consume. I think right now what I'm proposing to the commission is representatives can ask to review the document and we'll give them a secure access key to see the document they've requested. And then the official who's being reviewed will just get a simple notification that someone is reviewing your financial disclosure. We don't have to say who it is, but just that they know someone's reviewing it.
Does that seem kind of like
I think that will.
a little of a generous allowance, given that anybody can actually go to the GEC, or would have been able to go to the GEC and look at these documents in their entirety without tipping off whatever officials' information is being looked at?
Well, sometimes that will cause perpetrators to trip up and make mistakes, especially if we say something like, "Oh, someone's reviewing it."
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see what they do after. Do they
Oh,
file
like a
a
file?
supplemental
I got you.
report? Right.
Just
So, I mean, yeah.
thanks for that. But just quickly, can you give us a update on the status of you guys securing an office, and then the timeline pertaining to when people will actually be able to file ethics complaints with the Guam Ethics Commission?
Great. So to your first question on when we're going to open our office, there was a notice of intent of possible award that GSA had given to the property managers of GCIC. So Guam Election is moving out and Guam Ethics is moving in. And I was laughing with Maria Pangilinan because I said, you could have waited a little bit longer so we have some time to, connect and I can learn from what forms they have and we can share that. But hey, I mean, at least we have a place in the Gannett, the Central, that individuals can visit us. Right. So we're approaching that 14-day cool-off period with the procurement, potentially going to open up an office sometime in the week of the 21st. So we have a board meeting scheduled for June 24th at 12:30 p.m. So ideally, we'd like to see that we can have a hybrid meeting where that might be the first meeting we have in an actual location where the office belongs to, as well as online.
Jess, are you saying that you guys are going to move into the old GEC office, or just the same building?
No, it'll be the same building, yeah, but different unit. We don't need that quite a big a space, and so and we weren't even aware that GEC had issued their award to a different building.
Right.
So that was news to us yesterday when we were listening in on your interview with Maria Pangilinan.
Missed a link, missed a lot. Just so, what about the timeline for the public being able to file complaints? There's a lot of fishy stuff going on, and my people they're malago to file complaints.
Well, we'd love to hear about it. Right now, I'm expecting to present to the board the proposed standard operating procedures and their review of an application of which complaints will be filed. So if we go as along with what we're intending will happen, the board will review these forms. If they endorse it, then that means following the commission meeting on the 24th, we'll be open to receiving in the interim these complaints. So along with the complaints, there's also a lot of effort on our part to help build capacity for training. I mean, now that the mandate is all employees within the government of Guam have to go through these ethics courses. So we're trying to do both simultaneously, and we know that there's a lot built in to have that established.
Okay. Anything in closing, Jess?
Biba Betness. I think we'll be going on the show sometime in the near future. We just want to be able to share with you once we do have these forms, what that will look like, and give the community a really good insight of what we can do to support any of their questions or perhaps their interest in filing these complaints. And then, of course, on the government side, along with the complaints, we also want to make sure that all employees and officials are well educated on the do's and don'ts for ethical behavior. So be prepared that coming very soon, the Ethics Commission will be writing to every agency head and bureau to discuss, this is the mandate, and here are ways that we hope that they can work with us to get all employees compliant. And Chris, one last thing is Bill 85, which would grant the commission its independence and autonomy. authored by Senator Joe San Augustine. It received unanimous support by the Guam legislature at their last legislative session. So we're very excited that this bill had the support of the full body, and it included a lot of the provisions that we requested for. We're expecting that the governor will take some action on this bill sometime later today. So by hopefully end of day today, the Guam Ethics Commission will be a fully autonomous and independent body within the government of Guam.
Well, there you go. Jess, thanks for your time. And yeah,
Thanks, Chris.
we do look forward to having you on when the forms come out. Maybe we could do a walkthrough of how to do it and find out more about the process.
Great. Sounds good.
See you.
You have a great weekend.
You too, my friend. Jesse Quenga, the Guam Ethics Commission Executive Director. 724 on the link, Friday,